Hey guys, my name is Simio, and today we've learned about some surprising changes coming to Rainbow Six Siege. You guys may have noticed that shield operators have been sort of getting the short end of the stick lately. Last update, they got a pretty significant nerf where now if you melee someone, it will only place the defender in the down but not out state, and with the start of Season 3, they're now slowing down the aim down sight from 0.4 seconds to 0.6 seconds. Now admittedly on paper, that doesn't sound all that bad, but in reality, you'll quickly notice that it is a significant difference. It feels much slower and sluggish when you're trying to get that aim down sight accuracy. Now, I imagine the reason why Ubisoft has done this is that before, there really wasn't that much of a window for defenders to take advantage of to try and hit the shield player that is trying to aim down sights. Shield operators, if they were very good, could really take advantage of that fast ADS. And so by slowing it down a little bit, they're trying to reduce that potency. It really seems like Ubisoft is going a different direction with these operators lately and focusing and attempting to make them more defensive oriented, which makes sense. The real question is though, are they going too far with it? How much of an impact is this going to have on their performance, and are they now going to be underpowered? That remains to be seen, but I can understand why they've made this change. Now, one thing I'm really curious to see how the community reacts to is that they're removing maps from the casual playlist. They're taking out House, Presidential Plane, Yacht, Favela, Theme Park, and Tower. Now, they're not being removed from the game entirely. Every single month, they're going to be rotating them in and out. And so, one month, it might be Yacht, Favela, Theme Park, and then the next, they could switch on over to House, Tower, and Presidential Plane. The reason why they're doing this is for new players. Having that many maps in the game is pretty daunting for anyone that is brand new to Rainbow Six Siege. And so, by reducing that pool a bit, it will hopefully make it a bit more manageable. Now, for me personally, while I do get why Ubisoft is doing this, I can also completely understand why people are not going to be thrilled by this news. Some people love playing on House, Presidential Plane, Theme Park. Those are their favorite maps, and to not have that even in casual, like I get it for ranked, you get it for unranked, like that makes sense. That's supposed to be competitive, but the game is meant to be casual in that playlist, and so why not have them available? Another really interesting adjustment that they're making is that they're increasing the plant time from 5 seconds to 7 seconds. This is probably due in part because currently it's really easy to rush the objective or get in sneakily and then just plant the diffuser without defense being able to really act accordingly. 5 seconds is very fast. And so by increasing it to 7 seconds, you really need to establish a foothold on said objective before you can actually get that plant off. This will also be sort of a buff to plant denial operators like Smoke, Maestro, and Echo. If they're attempting to get the plants off and they haven't taken care of the Maestro camera, if it's a 1v1 situation, the Maestro can literally just zap the person until they get taken out. Like 2 extra seconds is a significant amount of time. This also gives Smoke and Echo more opportunity to take advantage of their gadgets. Now, one change that I know that many people are going to be thrilled by is that they're putting restrictions on who you can play with in ranked. Before, if you were Diamond, you could play with any of your buddies. It didn't matter if they were Platinum, which would make sense. Platinum and Diamond aren't that far off, or with your Copper 4 buddies. That is no longer going to be possible. What Ubisoft has done is that you now need to be within 1,000 elo from your friends. So if you are Platinum 2, that means that you can play with probably your Diamond buddies or people that are in Gold. If you're Silver, you can play with some Gold friends or people that are all the way down in Copper, but you're not going to be able to queue up with a Diamond anymore. The reason why they're doing this is that it really messed up with the matchmaking system when you had Diamonds and Coppers queuing with each other, because now that Diamond is going against Silvers, which probably isn't the best experience for said Silver players. Now, what's great about this, other than the fact that this will hopefully make matchmaking a bit more balanced, is that if you're someone who does enjoy playing with their friends, even though they are Silver and you're Diamond, you're not out of luck. If you don't like playing casual because casual just really isn't the Siege experience that you want, they're now adding in an unranked playlist. It has the same rule sets as ranked, the same map rotation, implementation. The only difference is that you win or lose, it doesn't affect your main ranked. And so if you want to play with all of your buddies, no matter their skill level, that is still going to be possible in those ranked rule sets. Now, one thing that I'm not entirely certain on is that some players are 100% convinced that the SMG 11 and 12 have seen a buff and that it has substantially less recoil. I tested this out on both the technical test servers and the live servers, and I think people might be onto something, but it's really difficult to say because they still have a significant amount of kick to them. The SMG-12, for example, still kicks like a mule, but you'll notice at the top end, it doesn't go as high as the live build. And so my recommendation that for this update is to try them out. Maybe if you played with this, you're going to notice a difference right away. For me, because it's been so long since I've actually used these weapons because I just found them to be too unreasonable, I really didn't notice that much of a difference. But people are convinced, and so I highly recommend that you give them a whirl. Kid is also someone that got an upgrade, which I feel like is kind of going under the radar. His AUG is now going to do 36 damage instead of 33 up close. That is a big deal. That means that at least against some operators like your 1 speeds, and I believe even your 2 speeds, that is going to reduce how many rounds it takes to take someone out in those close encounter situations by 1 round. You guys know 1 round usually can mean the difference between you winning and losing, and so all of a sudden the AUG now just became a lot more appealing. It still has the downside that it doesn't have the fastest RPM out there, but I really think that this is now going to make it a much more competitive option and make people think a little bit more, do they want to decide between the Shoddy and the AUG 3? Warden also got a little bit of a buff. His gadget's duration is now going to be increased from 8 seconds to 10 seconds. This, I believe, is necessary, but I honestly don't think that it's going far enough. I don't think the reason why Warden feels underwhelming is because his gadget doesn't last long enough. It's because of all the other restrictions put upon him. The weak weapon, the fact that he has to stand still if he wants to see through smoke while his gadget is activated, the fact that he is 3 armor and can't move around very quickly. You put all of these things together, having an extra 2 seconds on his gadget is a step in the right direction, but I would be very surprised if this has really any impact on his performance, but we are going to have to wait and see. Fuse is also someone who is getting a buff where the deployment time on his gadget is being reduced from 2 seconds to 1.6 seconds. This feels very reminiscent of what they did to the breaching charges a couple of patches ago, where they significantly reduced the time it takes for you to plant this on a wall or a window. And so not only will this be a nice quality of life improvement because it will leave you less vulnerable while going through this animation, but on top of that, it will give defenders less time to react. A lot of times, the reason why his gadget never really connects with anyone is because it makes a very large audible noise and it gives them plenty of time to move away. As soon as they hear the gadget deploy, they can quickly move into another room. But if there's now less time for them to register, oh, that's a fuse, and get out of there, it's already being activated and those pucks are flying around all over the place, which will hopefully benefit him in the long run. Another operator that's getting some love is Dokkaebi and Glaz. They're now both going to have access to the frag nades. Now, I was not expecting this whatsoever, especially with Glaz. Now, you might be thinking, why in the world would Glaz ever want to use this secondary gadget? He has access to smoke, and that's how you take advantage of his Iron V. Like, that is the main draw of playing as this character. And I would agree with you, but ever since they made this significant nerf to said Iron V, where it's now a lot more clunky, having access to frag nades, especially if you have a specific tactic where now all 5 of your teammates, if you so desire, can be running this secondary gadget, tossing 10 of these on the map or on the objective could be quite potent. And so I think the reason why Ubisoft has done this, even for Dokkaebi, is to not necessarily buff them. They did the same thing with Finka, but to try to make them a bit more appealing. You guys know Glaz doesn't really have the best win rate or pick rate right now, and while Dokkaebi has a good win rate, her pick rate probably could be a little bit better, and so I'm guessing that's what Ubisoft is trying to solve with the slight adjustments. Now, one thing that I know that many people are going to be thrilled by is that they are updating the way that T-Hunt works. For the longest time, people have been requesting that they remove the rooms filled with nitro and barbed wire and also get rid of the big guys that run around all over the place. That is finally happening. There will still be nitro that is scattered around. I think that barbed wire will still be a factor, but they've realized that people play T-Hunt to warm up, get comfortable, get adjusted to the way that the multiplayer works, and having rooms that are filled with barbed wire is not something that you see in the multiplayer, and so they're trying to make it more comparable to that experience. And so I'm sure that some people might be a bit disappointed by this news. I think the vast majority of the player base is going to be ecstatic about this because this is exactly what we've been wanting for a very long time now. But yeah, guys, that has been it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Now, this did not include all of the patch notes. They're quite substantial, and so if you'd like to check out the complete version, I will leave a link down below in the description. But let me know what you guys thought about these changes. Are you excited about the buff to Warden and Cade? Are you a little bit hesitant about where they're going with the casual map rotation? Let me know what you guys think down below. But yeah, guys, until next time, have a good one and take it easy.